Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. As you all know, XRP was produced all at once, and there is no mining on the XRP ledger. And the XRP ledger, when it was being coded over a decade ago, was basically just trying to build a better version of Bitcoin. Who knows who that would ultimately get used for, though they had some rough ideas of it being used for payments. They simply desired to create a more efficient alternative to Bitcoin's mining process. It's highly wasteful and expensive. So they went ahead and got rid of it. The XRP blockchain does not have any sort of internal financial incentive structure. Since this barrier was removed in the cryptocurrency's early stages, XRP is now comparable to Bitcoin in terms of throughput and many other metrics. In reality, there just isn't any parallel. Right? Others, however, argue that the lack of financial reward for participating in the XRP ledger's network, as nodes or validators, is a serious drawback. Now, David Schwartz has made it public that he believes that the best incentive is no incentive. And he's spoken publicly on the topic, lectured, or delivered speeches on the subject. And I've been discussing it for years on the channel. The best incentive is no incentive, thus his view is well known. And he's explained why, and I'm not going to delve too far into that topic for this video. That's a topic that I've discussed before. However, one must consider the alternative. Among the XRP community, this developer is a household name. We can assume that Wind, the founder of XRP Labs, is well known within the XRP community. Moreover, he has made it clear that he disagrees with David Schwartz's view that the best incentive is no incentive. Instead, he believes that financial incentive is necessary to ensure XRP's long-term viability in the XRP ledger. According to a recent news article in the cryptocurrency industry, XRP Labs developers have recommended changing the XRP ledger's incentive system to better incentivize community participation. And what if you could get paid to use the XRP blockchain? This represents a major change from the previous functionality of the XRP ledger. This isn't a fleeting organization, however. When talking to prominent XR software engineers, we'd use the phrase XRPL Labs. Furthermore, this is a fascinating point of debate. But before we go any further, let me make it perfectly clear that I am not a financial expert and am not giving any sort of financial advice. And remember, you should never use anything I say as a reason to buy or sell something. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts films to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. Okay, so the text is as follows. Some wallets developers have advocated updating the XRP ledger technology in order to incentivize greater user participation in the network's upkeep and operation. The XRP ledger infrastructure faces a number of challenges at the moment, including those related to adaptability and financial viability, as acknowledged by the SUM team in a recent announcement. As a result, many people and businesses are annoyed by this. The current approach makes an effort to solve these problems by outlining a plan that encourages diversity and provides tangible rewards for individuals who contribute to the infrastructure. Important to this makeover is the introduction of XRPL Cluster, new software that will provide a worldwide connected XRP ledger network and superior security that guarantees fast access to real-time transaction data. In addition, the SUM team has committed to giving the XRPL cluster source code and intellectual property to the XRP Ledger Foundation. To elaborate on the suggested approach, we'd point to a comment made by the founder of XRPL Labs in SUM developer. Quote, "This is without a question the most momentous improvement to the XRP ledger architecture since its birth, marking a key juncture in our goal of a healthier, sustainable XRP ledger." By incentivizing participation from the community, the approach hopes to address existing infrastructure problems. And in a moment, I'll elaborate on it. Because you might be asking how exactly individuals and organizations might benefit monetarily. Due to the existence of a distinct document, upon which the Crypto Basic relies for the purpose of writing this essay, I shall impart upon you the publicly available information. Additionally, it does not cover every question that could arise. So, there are no hard figures to be found. Let me go on a little further first, and we'll get into that, but from a conceptual level, I'd say it's basically there. You might still have some questions, but it's mostly there in terms of grasping at least the general concept here. Due to Ripple's ubiquity in the XRP ecosystem and the fact that XRP has its own dedicated YouTuber asked whether the San Francisco company can get behind an idea. When pressed on the transparency of the XRP ledger, we'd point out that Ripple is optional. Here is the real deal, so to speak. From where we're sitting, Wind Ripple is optional. As the name implies, anyone can join this network. It's safe to assume that Ripple will welcome this improvement, especially as it promotes operations inclusiveness and gives an incentive to run nodes if you're spending resources anyhow. According to him, incentives will amount to a nearly complete rev share from what resource customers have to pay, with the latter being subject to change. Until we know what kind of load is being incurred, we can't give any estimates. And even if there are numbers, they are just the ones they claim are off and claim to have adjusted. So, here are some of the finer points. And I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's very long. I've already read it. I want to draw attention to a couple of places in this number 1 where they specifically identify the issues before I start shooting the video. And number 2, what the monetization and incentive system will look like, generally speaking, even though, as I told you, there aren't specifics in terms of dollars, we may receive something a little bit more precise in the future. We would too, if things go as planned, but they seem to have made their argument. I'll also admit that I've always been persuaded by David Schwartz's claim that the best incentive is no incentive. Still, I'd like to see more evidence before forming a solid view on the matter. I'd be interested to know what David Schwartz thinks of the ideas presented in this film, which was produced by We'd Say What an XR Please, and the points I make. I have no doubt that he will bring it up in conversation. After I'm done with this video, I might even tag him and ask, "Hey, David, what do you think?" and hope for a response. But I'm curious because, once again, I think David Schwartz makes a convincing case. Here, though, we have a developer who is actively contributing to the ledger itself admitting, "Hey, we've got some bottlenecks." Also, a proposed solution is missing from this instance. This is intriguing, then. This article is about improving the XRP ledger's infrastructure so that it can support a long-term ecosystem. And this is from the XRPL labs as well. The XRP ledger community has been a pioneer in the blockchain industry since its creation. But we pioneers have overcome our share of difficulties. At the center of these difficulties has been the lack of a reliable and expandable public infrastructure. We're excited to share with you the details of our upcoming infrastructure upgrade. This is more than a simple software update. It's a calculated move to remake the groundwork of the XRP ledger in a way that benefits everyone involved in the network long term. Beyond the technical hurdles, infrastructure management in the blockchain space provides a complicated web of issues. The goal is to build a structure that can withstand stress, change, and expansion. Despite its sophistication, today's infrastructure frequently struggles with inflexibility and inefficiency, and its hosts rarely see a return on their investments. In addition, the XRP ledger is a consensus network that, when combined with the native decentralized exchange, necessitates enormous storage capacity for some applications. This seems incongruous given the efficiency demonstrated by the Swift network's 4-second ledger close time. The fiscal burden of infrastructure management is substantial. Companies of all sizes are forced to invest heavily in private infrastructure, often with no clear return and forced to rely on an external provider. However, it might be difficult for individuals or smaller organizations to make money off of their infrastructure, which can discourage them from helping out. The terrain presents similar difficulties in terms of operations. Bottlenecks happen when the local infrastructure enters maintenance mode or is overwhelmed by a surge of demand. This goes beyond the possibility of minor technological difficulties. There are only two possible outcomes. It's either possible for the system to handle transactions and get historical data without a hitch, or it isn't. In the long run, this can erode the confidence that people have in the XRP ledger. That's the case they're making for why there's a major issue, and it's a good one if you ask me. And it has to be fixed. They worry that if this isn't fixed, it could have an adverse effect on XRP and the XRP ledger's long-term viability. Now I'll go down a level and discuss how to monetize this and provide incentives for it. The following is what they wrote. Therefore, here we are. A piece of the plan they have in mind. Historically, there have been many competent individuals and organizations capable of bolstering the XRP ledger architecture, but many have been dissuaded by the absence of monetary reward and other tangible incentives. If you use the XRP ledger, you should run your own node, but the current solutions are either too expensive or too difficult, or they rely significantly on public infrastructure, unfairly burdening a small set of people. Because it depends on the goodwill of a select few, the existing strategy for utilizing public infrastructure is fundamentally unsustainable. We are bringing about a paradigm shift with the updated infrastructure. We are creating the XRP ledger cluster software from the ground up rather than depending on third-party hosting sites where only a select few earn a profit. This innovative design will perpetually utilize public utilities within predetermined parameters. Hardware wallets on numerous exchanges are expected to add to this revenue stream by allowing users to store and send larger amounts of cryptocurrency without incurring excessive fees. Users can connect their own node to the cluster and start processing queries from nearby sources. Those that provide the most resources will be rewarded by the largest customers. It's the first time there's been a financial incentive to contribute to the core of the network, and it works like an Airbnb for the XRP ledger. That pretty much sums everything up, so there you go. So, like I mentioned, I don't have any hard figures for you. That is a fantastic concept, and we can expect to see it implemented at some time. What the other side has to say about this plan would also be quite interesting to me. However, this is a key contributor to the XRP and a retail outlet. I believe Ledger if he says there are issues and roadblocks. It's possible, but I can't say for sure that it applies to every conceivable scenario. But it seems like eventually, I'll say this, if the worries that he mentioned at the beginning of this post regarding long-term sustainability, if we start to realize that that's a negative for everyone, no matter what, then that seems like a bad thing. For this reason, I'd like to get right to David Schwartz, who originally proposed the idea that the best incentive is no incentive. This is an argument that has always resonated with me. I've already discussed it on this channel, but more dialogue between the two protagonists would be really appreciated. The only way and I think most of the community that isn't a developer or tech nerd, can learn anything from this and draw our own conclusions is to watch the best two opposing views go at it. This is the right way to approach any situation where you're trying to draw a conclusion, since humans aren't experts in very much. Therefore, we need to rely on the knowledge of those around us. I'm suggesting that it's easier for us lay people to get a conclusion about anything in life if we can watch two opposing experts in that field argue it out. I'm just curious, I'd like to hear from whoever has the strongest case. That is the very question I have at hand. At this time, unusually, I find myself doubtful at the moment. In all honesty, I can't say that I have a firm stance on the matter right now. However, that is how I viewed it initially. To put it another way, I won't claim to know a lot or have firm beliefs in an issue with which I don't have a strong emotional connection. Yes, that's a common human failing, I'm aware. If I have a strong opinion about something, I will make it clear that I intend to explain my reasoning. But look at this, I only read this yesterday after it was published. There needs to be a much bigger conversation about this. You should be having this conversation, especially with all the awesome tech nerds out there. And I urge you to make it public. Okay, but do it in open view of everyone. Because the general public, including me and anyone else who happens to be listening, is genuinely curious and interested in hearing both sides of the debate. But tell me what you think about this concept. And I'm not sure what the implications of these alterations would be for regular people's day-to-day dealings. What, if anything, might this mean for throughput, which isn't discussed here? I'm curious about the drawbacks of these sorts of adjustments. It's also not the same as the law that's being quoted here. Therefore, I have no idea what the counterargument could be because there is no code to decipher. You could, of course, discuss it conceptually. However, it would be fascinating to study hieroglyphs even if I saw the code. This would not imply any particular level of damage. However, it would be helpful to have another technologist review it. The speculations they make about the drawbacks would be fascinating at that point. Outside of the XRP ledger, though, even if there is, because no blockchain is perfect, I will say the following. It's been around for more than a decade, and there's still a lot of developer interest in it. Therefore, I don't think there's any pressing issue at hand right now. It's possible that this or that is off-putting to the people who create their software. Sure, use whatever blockchain suits your needs. I think the main argument is that this will be a huge issue in the future. So even though it isn't a huge issue right now, developer engagement is on the rise. What happens, happens. Taking into account that the XRP ledger was designed for payments and lacks basic smart contract support at the Layer 1 level, the staggering rate of its adoption is truly remarkable. That's right, there aren't as many programmers working on it as there are on, say, the Ethereum smart contract platform. Even if smart contract capabilities opens up a lot of new possibilities, this doesn't negate the need for a blockchain that is lightning fast and secure. And as evidenced by past achievement? There is a need for a payments blockchain, and XRP fills that niche. The XRP ledger is thus complete. Therefore, it is not without utility. But some of my first ideas are such. Let me know what you think, and I'll quit harping on it, but keep in mind that I'm always open to being convinced. I just need convincing arguments. No, I don't give out financial advice. Nothing I say should influence any transactions you make. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.